Events. This one's going to be great. Simone's from Ungebox, so you know it's going to be, she's going to have a wealth of knowledge. So take it away, Simone. It's all yours.
Thank you. Good morning. I may take my mask off unless you tell me otherwise. Which way are we going? This is actually a language in the northwest of Australia, from the Cook Tayo. And I don't say, hi, how are you? Good morning, it wasn't too good. It's really conflicts, you're trying to avoid. So which way are we going? And they would answer something like north, northwest, in a far distance. Now if I ask you, well, where's southwest here? Close your eyes and point towards it. Brilliant. I don't know it myself. But the proof is that they can navigate much better and they think different. And language is one of my points that I want to highlight today, language of events. We have so many languages. Suddenly, one of my clients now needs to go to Poland, beautiful Krakow, to do an event. This is not just a different language. This is a different currency. This is a different tax rate. There is so many different elements in events that cause so much confusion and cause so much miscommunication and misunderstanding. And really this is what we want to avoid, and this is where we come up with our ideas and say, how can we collaborate better? And north, northwest, in a far distance, if we would go from here, actually, we would end up in Glasgow. And I think we all know what's happening in Glasgow at the moment. How do we protect our planet? How do we actually not protect our planet? How do we save our planet? So sustainability is another of the pillars I want to explore with you today, and what technology can do with it, actually. So language, sustainability, and collaboration is really the three pillars that I think our technology should be built on. Not just your goals, maybe just going back, sorry, I just jumped right in. Who are we actually? Who knows Ungebock? Hands up. Or Ungebock, I know I have to always pronounce it differently depending on where I am. Okay, so we call ourselves the oldest event software, the world's oldest event software. We're in the market for over 36 years. We were thinking just about events, just about how to make events successful and what tech do you actually need, and what is important. Now it's not just us, it's now also our users, and our users are our gold, really. It's 75,000 users that are feeding back what the industry really needs. Yes, we can sit down together and be creative and all of that, but actually we want to build stuff that you need. We everywhere, we also here. I'm so happy to be here, actually. And the question is, we always ask ourselves, what are our main goals? Lady in pink, what are the main goals of your company? What are your main goals? You've gone shy. She's gone shy. Anyone who really wants to hit a goal and hit a target beginning of next year? Successful event. That is a big topic. What does that mean? I mean, there's so many main goals: profitability, transparency, sustainability, and so on. This has really all got to do with your balance sheet, but I think it is much bigger. Sustainability, I mean, the Sustainable Development Goals mean so much more, and I think we want to create events that blow the client away. If the client is not happy, it doesn't matter what technology we have. And the question is, do we always have enough time for that client to really make him happy? Or do we spend endless amounts of time of sending emails with quotes and stuff that he could actually do himself, and where we could collaborate better to save our time for ourselves, for our colleagues? Rows between colleagues are never pretty. And also have really, really... You're looking at your colleague now. That is good, but this is reality. And where are we actually investing our time? I mean, events are stressful. we should take the stress out of events and really spend the time where it really matters and where it really makes a difference. So, getting to your targets, yes, there are problems, yes, there are brilliant ideas, and we always try to kind of come up with the solutions. Paperless is really one of the targets we all have. We want to be digital and mobile. We don't want that printer. As soon as you have printed news, it's old news, and nothing is in real time, and nothing can be communicated from that piece of paper easily anymore. So not only sustainability, but also having real time and being able to communicate quicker with your colleagues and with your clients as well. I had a conversation last week with an exhibition organizer, and they say, well, there's this one exhibitor, and he's so difficult, and he always feeds back, but he's not just difficult, but he also feeds back valuable stuff. Now, he's also exhibiting at another event that is not my event, that is my colleague's event, totally not linked in the system, so the colleague can never access that important information that will really make that exhibitor be happier, buy more, and be more successful at the end of the event. So streaming all that data into one pot really, and everyone having access at the time they need it is important. We all seen it, somebody wants to order more champagne at an event, and in the end they say, we haven't ordered that. So this is revenue who just goes away from you. We don't want to do that. We want to eliminate revenue leaks, really. So this is why we came up with the idea of mobile work orders. I mean, we're spending far too much time on our mobile, sadly. But at least make use of it where it is. So, for example, event-related activities can be handled by mobile work orders, and also being fed back to the back office immediately. So that immediate connection, yes, we have all sorts of apps and nobody wants an additional app, and this is not an app, and connecting to the back office really. Virtual is our new world, but I think we all are desperate to go to real events. Yes, okay, we have to make them hybrid, and yes, of course, it is not just the short-term trend. It reduces travel costs, and it can include a broader audience as well. Now, I don't know if you held your hybrid events yourself before, but often the real event, total different platform than the virtual event. So now you need to link them together again, and this is where we thought as well, look, let's have both of them, and let's then have a report on all the attendees we had, not maintaining two sets of data again, and double or triple entering data all the time. Spaces. This morning I thought, I'm glad COVID is half over, and we don't have to meet outside in the winter anymore. Gloves and hats, I forgot all of that this morning. Reimagining your spaces. I go to a lot of universities, and they tell me, well, how we do our space planning is with pencil and paper. We actually draw it, or we then at the end create a PDF file. Again, nothing is connected. Where is that collaboration, that connectivity? So during the horrendous COVID time, we were actually incredibly lucky to keep working. All of us kept working. And one of the tools that we came up with was basically a flexible solution to organize your spaces, room diagramming, that is directly connected to your inventory as well. It is connected to the event. It is connected to everything. It is not another standalone solution that you're trying to connect. Yes, of course, everything. You can build an interface to everything, and our modern language is really RESTful API, and we offer that as well. But I think it just causes less trouble if you have everything connected. Here as well, I mean, how do you start when you suddenly have 1.5 meter difference between every chair, every table? Where do you start on a piece of paper? Where do you start at all? Now the English come with their feet. Another problem, another language they speak here. It's not the meters, it's the feet. So all the languages are incorporated in our system. Your your employees, you yourself, you can switch between the languages, not a problem at all. We have 6 standard languages, of course, but dictionary-based, any language is possible. Collaboration, I think it's the most important part, apart from, no, I love language actually. And English is not my mother tongue, as you may hear. Now, collaboration, in particular with partners, event organizers, venues, catering companies, so much information going back and forth, but also the client. So we thought about this in quite a deep way. Okay, what can the client see that we don't have to tell them, that we don't have to send them an email about, and that we don't have to constantly communicate passionless. And this is the portals for exhibitors, for example. This is an event portal for your event organizer between the venue. This is a portal where your caterer picks up their orders in real time. It just adds to transparent communication. They can see it in their language as well. I mean, for example, a lot of the exhibitions in Germany, where I grew up, they're organized by English exhibition organizers. So perfect, everyone sees it in their language, no misunderstandings happening, and the customer is satisfied. And also, once you see activity in the portal, which we will track, which you can track, you then know it's exactly the right time to reach out with meaningful conversations and with meaningful questions and chats. And it saves you time. I mean, nothing better than if the happy client puts in all the data or the participant puts in all the data themselves and there's no misunderstandings in the end. I speak to a lot of venues. They use sometimes 3 CRMs because that one CRM offers different functionality, but the sales team want obviously the newest CRM and the most flashy CRM to go with that. But triple entering data, I think, should be something from the past. And then in the end, you want your learnings. I think the last 19 months gave us some time to rethink, what do we actually want to learn ourselves as well? Has anyone taken up a new hobby, something, new language? Anyone cooked for the first time? Gentlemen here? Didn't cook?
I'm getting into slow cooking.
Slow cooking, see? But for how long? For how long?
8 hours.
No, well, slow cooking for 8 hours, yes. But when did you start?
I won a slow cooker at a bingo night just before lockdown.
Brilliant, as if they knew, right? Yeah, and you learn something new, but how often do we say, well, I would love to speak French? How often do we put it back? Because, oh, I'm stressed at work and it's no time. And in the events industry at the moment, there have never in 20 years been that many vacancies as now. It's a 12% increase in vacancies. Who's picking up the tasks at the moment? It's us, right? So we have even less time. Now we need to get events running and so on. So it's really important to have time for those learnings at the end of an event. And learnings at a click of a mouse click or keyboard click, whatever you click on, is really handy. I mean, I still remember the times where I had to collect the data in Excel and then make those beautiful graphs. They take a lot of time. And also, you still need to remember what you learned in college or university or at school. What was the function again to bring that graph out and to put all the data together? It takes an enormous amount of time. And the boss is waiting and waiting and waiting. And he can't do it himself, or she can't do it herself. Maybe not either. So learnings at your fingertips at all times, what you want to see, what your colleagues want to see, what your teams want to see, really in an individual basis. And this is basically an overview how we wanted to, I wouldn't say it's out of the box. You might not say it's out of the box, but it's something we actually invested time in. I think time is the most valuable resource we have to really bring out something that makes lives easier for meaningful things. So we think it's time for change. You might think when you look in your organization, when you look in your partners' organizations, there could be something done a little bit different as well. So yeah, this was a short overview from me, and I actually wanted to make this more interactive because we also still have 15 minutes. What is it? Maybe if you can tell me a little bit out of your organization, what are you struggling with? What is your wish list at the moment? Time. Yeah. Time and vacancies to fill. Yeah, absolutely. Where are all the young people who want to work in events? Where have they gone? Where are all the students? Where are they? I mean, at every restaurant you see, we have staff shortages. Please be kind. Yes, we need to be kind, but I had a... Yeah.
I don't think they're allowed in the UK. I think they're all Europeans are the ones that like to work.
Yeah. Now, this is a political discussion, and I think this is a valid point, absolutely. Politics is always difficult to talk about, I think, especially standing here as a European in the UK. So time and staff shortages, absolutely. But I think whoever I spoke to before, and I say, how did you end up in the event industry? They say, oh, that was by chance. The same here, it was by chance. I developed German companies in Africa for 15 years. I came here by chance because I was looking for what's happening in technology. Who was always in the events industry? Perfect. You happy? Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. You create parties, you create memorable experiences all day long. If you have the time, they're even more memorable and they're a better party and it will be a repeat party. In terms of repeat parties, there's nothing better than to just take an event and move it with the stuff you want to move it across. And not start from scratch again or from those wonderful Excel sheets. I love Excel, absolutely. But yeah, so apart from time and vacancies to fill, who else has vacancies to fill? How many? 2 to 3. How many applications per vacancy?
5, 8.
Whereas 5 years ago, you probably had 500 to 800. So I think really treating time as a really precious resource is super important. And if technology can help you by that, why not looking into that, I think. And then having the time for really the important things. Or maybe we had last week, I was on holiday last week, but we had laughter yoga. We made time for laughter yoga, just to experience something new. And I think this is what life is about, and this is what actually drives you and gets you further, to experience new things, to develop that growth mindset, and go to new pastures and create something new, and just be able to have that time to be creative and to have ideas. We all have ideas. But also then to make those ideas reality, I think is very important. Who has trickier clients, difficult clients? Anyone with only super happy clients? Super happy clients only? Why not? Their demands. Exactly. Do we always know what clients expect when we pitch to them? This is our biggest question mark. How do we pitch to a client? What does he need? But if the client could tell us from the beginning what he needs in a portal, wonderful. We don't even have to find it out, and we can then tailor it to them. Yeah. Any other pressing issues? Who would like to learn something new? Anyone who always wanted to learn a new language? Yeah? Which one?
Spanish, probably.
Spanish?
Seems like the easiest.
Why do you say so?
I just feel like when I'm in Spain, I am more likely to understand what someone's trying to say
Okay.
than French or German or...
Maybe because they talk with their hands and their body and have just a wonderful language, absolutely. Why haven't you started?
No, no excuses. Zero
No excuses.
excuses. Because I'm lazy.
So I encourage you to start something new. I just started 3 weeks ago French, and it brings me so much joy on that Wednesday evening. It's wonderful. You meet new people, and actually you understand people in a different light. I speak 3 languages, and whenever I speak German, my mother tongue, my voice changes. And it's really interesting, and I only noticed this a couple of years ago, and now I look at my daughter, and exactly the same thing happens. I cannot sometimes stand her English voice. This is now her mother tongue because she lives here. Her German voice is so still childlike. She's a teenager, still childlike and pure and just nice. And I think this makes such a difference to speak in the language that the clients want to hear. And I just encourage anyone, take up a new language. It just opens a whole new world. And I think there was once the saying that if you speak a second language, you have a second soul. And I think it's not that wrong. Now, obviously, Shakespeare, speaking English, made Juliet say, well, a rose is a rose is a rose, and smells as sweet as the other. So he doesn't think so, but I absolutely think so. Even if you don't speak the language, give your client the output to have something that feels they can trust, that feels just like home, I think. Yeah.
I'm from Finland. Is anybody up for that challenge?
Finland.
Yes, please. Finland.
Wow.
If you want a challenge from the languages,
Now, apparently I heard about Finland, and you will tell me if it's true, that if you have negotiations, you just sit silently in the sauna for a day, 2?
I love to upkeep stereotypes, so that's how it is. And you at the same time drink vodka.
Oh, and you drink, is that new, the vodka, or is that?
This is with the person you're negotiating with, or?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
I love
but
it.
you don't talk, right?
You don't talk.
So you talk them under the table, under the bench, I mean.
Wow.
So when you negotiate or when you speak to clients in Finnish, do you sound different than in English?
Yeah, probably we do. Probably we are somehow more to the point.
More to the point, okay. Does this help in Finland, or would it help in Finland to sometimes not be more to the point, or would they get irritated? Okay, okay. And would the Finnish be up for actually not communicate? I mean, if they don't want to talk, to give you the information and exchange ideas and concepts via a platform, or is the personal element still very important?
That's a good question. I don't know if that differs in Finland.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Learn new ways to do things. Personal connection is always engaging and meaningful.
Absolutely, the personal connection is engaging, and I think a meaningful personal conversation and personal connection is the most important in doing business, in doing events, absolutely. But the non-meaningful things, I think everybody is now happy to just do remote. And generating this space where you can have this meaningful exchange is all really that matters to us. And we say, well, we're empowering people to bring people together because we really want people to be together and not just stare at their screens. I mean, you can press the pause button and it's just not ever going to go in as much as if you're really live on stage or in a room with someone. Anyone else not from England? So that's Southern Hemisphere. Sydney. How is it in Sydney? Are the events all outdoor, by the way?
I think they've just come out of lockdown.
Okay.
I think it's like what we were probably a few months ago. Smaller indoor events still allowed, but like 50% capacity. But they're moving pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's vaccinated. Well, in New South Wales, yeah. So it's pretty back to normal.
Personal element really important in Sydney?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think,
Great.
yeah, people would like to do a deal, maybe not in a sauna, but in a pub.
Okay.
Yeah.
With talking?
Yeah, with lots of talking.
With lots of talking,
Yeah,
okay. Right. 5 minutes left. Any questions?
Any questions? And we got I don't think there's any come through Glissa, but let me just check. I have a comment.
Yes.
Because I think you said like the ideas themselves aren't necessarily out of the box, but what I like about what's out of the box is the fact that all of those things can be handled in one program or one platform.
Absolutely.
Because that's the issue with my time management is Zoho CRM, Proposify, proposal writing, Google Drive, delivering events. There's just shit everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. We see this a lot. I mean, sometimes we replace, the other day I spoke to a nice, really nice sports venue. They have 113 programs. 113. Crazy. Now they need a consultant to check how they can downsize those 113 programs. But it's not seldom that we actually replace 25 programs and say, look, one program will do for that. Yes, of course, we have integrations to other things, like if you, for example, have a venue and you have a hotel as well, and integration to the hotel management software. We can't do it all, but what matters to events, we have thought about it. And we don't want to do it all.
Amazing. Does anyone have a question? Okay. Well, we can
Right.
call it early.
Thank you, I'm still here, so any more personal
Celine,
questions?
thank you for a round of applause. I called you Simone before. Celine, I apologise. Thank you for that. That was great. I think there is a session at 11:15 which isn't on the schedule but is happening. Do we know what it is about? Future of hybrid events. So if that interests you, please come back. I don't think it's on the schedule, but it's being delivered by a guy called Stuart, who is an industry legend from an agency called Catch the Mice. Feel free to come back and check it out. Thanks, Celine.
Thank you.